Ramos. I'm a girl from Mexico City. I'm a stubborn, Viva Mexico, cabrón! I'm a girl from Mexico City. I am a hard worker. I have my family, my brother Diego, my father, my taco dog. Is that a spoiler? I have a dog, that's it. And I work hard, I want the best for my family, and one day I go to work and suddenly there's this new Terminator trying to kill me. So I don't understand why, and then we get these amazing two women, Mackenzie Grace and Sarah Connor, and they are trying to help me, so we'll see why.
We'll see what happens. Diego, can you talk about, let's really talk about the action in this movie, okay? Everybody wants, Terminator is about action, right? We've got substance, we've got nuance, but we've also got lots of explosions.
Well, here's a picture I'll paint really quick. About a year ago, we were shooting a scene in the south of Spain, in Murcia. It was 45 degrees Celsius, so that's
hot.
Over 100 degrees.
That's just a nice fall day in Texas.
Yes, by the way, that's true. And we were shooting this car chase scene in a pickup truck, no AC, in the middle of the highway for 10 days. And it was amazing because Tim would come up and we'd shoot, little fragments of this little piece, which is part of this 2-minute car chase scene. And he'd show us the previs and he'd go, okay, that thing that we're gonna shoot right now, which is worth a second in the whole movie, it's this. Right? And it was really cool to be a part of a movie that was this effects heavy with someone who knows so much, but also cares a lot about the emotion of the movie. I'm going to steal this line from you, Tim, because it's so good. He says, it's if you don't care about the characters in the explosions, there's no movie. You've seen explosions many times, and technology will only get better and better. But it's the characters and the emotion that pulls us through. And Tim was able to really do both.
He gets the fuck across town. I'm like, yes, girl. And then you show up in Terminator Dark Fate. Can you talk about sort of the difference in your experience on this movie versus so many of the other things you've done, even TV?
I was pretty trepidatious going into it because I just had this kind of old Hollywood idea that there'd be a director in a megaphone across the lot being more tears! And that you wouldn't have any sort of nice experience shooting it. But then it's pretty evident as soon as you start talking to Tim that that's not his style. And so it was this enormous thing that's feels like an opera versus black box theater or something. But Tim managed to make the acting side of it and the storytelling side of it really intimate, and I think without this sort of very intense reliance on each other and this emotional core of the movie, it would have been bad to make and then see.
Sure.
But I think the movie we made was wonderful to make and really fucking good.
I actually thought when Mackenzie, I'd seen her previous work and she'd already auditioned, and then she came down to Blur, and I genuinely thought that at some point when I started showing her what she had to do, she'd go, fuck this, I'm not. I was just joking before, I'm not interested, but she really worked harder than anybody, I think, maybe except for Linda. Maybe, I don't know. She was up so early every day. She worked harder than everybody to become this person that is fantastic.
Linda, do you want to weigh in on that? If you and Mackenzie got in a movie fist fight, who would win? I'm just gonna...
Linda would win. I assure you Linda would win. Linda has an inner strength.
She's definitely stronger and younger, but I'm meaner.
I don't know.
You can't beat the Canadian out of a girl. I just have nothing to do with it.
The Terminator, and from that moment on, everything has changed in my life, and I've done then after Commander and Predator and Red Heat and all those movies, and we really created the 80s and the 90s kind of action genre. So I think that Terminator was really a very, very important movie for me in 1984. It was a very important movie for me in 1991. It became the highest grossing movie of that year. And it was one of those really unique characters where you were amongst the top 10 villains and scariest kind of characters, but at the same time you were also amongst the top 10 heroic characters. So that's unheard of. And only someone like Jim Cameron can create something like that. So I feel very indebted to Jim Cameron for having created this character and these movies. And I'm so happy that he's part of this one again, and that he brought everyone together again, and that he and Linda came back, and and that they were smart enough to get Tim Miller to direct it, because he was the perfect guy to direct it. So I think that you all will be really surprised at this movie, because it has come out really unbelievable, and I was blown away when I just saw it 3 weeks ago for the first time.
Arnold gets $100 every time he mentions Jim Cameron.
Arnold, do people quote you to you all the time?
Well, not only quote me, but I mean, they also try to imitate my accent. I specifically decided not to go that direction.
No, beautifully, he quotes himself sometimes. We'd be on set and, sometimes be dragging a little bit. He's like, do it now.
He didn't have to say it.
Oh, then
We had talk.
well, yeah, then we're at
The helicopter, I had to call it. And he said, get to the chopper.
No, my favorite. We were at breakfast one time, my wife was talking to a friend of his, and it was like, what does your father do? And literally mid-bite, he's like, who is your daddy, and what does he do?
Actually, Natalia does the best Arnold imitation. What does he say after a good take?
Very nice.
Oh, you gotta let him do it.
Very nice.
Yep, that was pretty good. I'm into it. I mean, we've done an awful lot of talking here. I kind of want to
No, at the Deadpool panel, they chanted, play it again. At the end of the panel. Wait, you don't have to do it now, but at the end of the panel. And then fuck all the schedules up for the rest of the day. I expect it.
Linda, girl, your guns are huge! That was unbelievable stuff. Is that the first time that you've seen it? Uh-huh.
Fuck, I'm old. But that's amazing. That's amazing. I have not glimpsed it, because I don't want to see it till it's ready. And maybe not even then.
She promised she'd go to the premiere with me. She doesn't want to see it until then, but she promised. You did promise.
It'd be like this. That's amazing, Tim.
Yes.
And everybody at this table rocks. Every single person at this table rocks.
It's so true. There's so much energy in what we just saw. Like, Mackenzie, you're getting stared down. You like the leg break. There's so many things where I'm like, I'm having a nerdgasm. This is like, wow. What's your response to seeing that? And in a form you've never seen it before.
I'm surprised how many times I've teared up at the Terminator Dark Fate panel backstage in here. But I love Linda so much, and she's such a wonderful person, and it's just so, it's just really moving to get to see her in all of her glory, and to see the excitement about her coming back. And Kim, I love everybody. So I'm so proud of what you did. I think you said it best, that Terminator 6 doesn't sell itself, but this is such an amazing thing that you made, so I'm so excited.
We made.
Yeah.
Made it together.
And that's the thing. That's what. Do you want to tell everybody where that is, or shall I?
You go ahead and tell it.
Thank you so much. I forgive you for yelling at me earlier. It's great. Later on today at 3 o'clock, there's going to be an AMA on Reddit. Everybody's going to be there, so make sure that you send your questions. It's going to be amazing. And in the meantime, put your hands together for this unbelievable cast and director of Terminator.